Alright, welcome back. Match 2 is just underway now. So for those of you just tuning in, WZ has won match 1 by a score of, I believe, 393 to 339. So we're getting into match 2 here. WZ is now hosting this one.
Yeah, after a nice, refreshing break, we're going to jump right back into the action. Those of you who missed match 1 or just tuning in, this is the grand finals of the Gauntlet tournament. It's been going on for the past couple of months, and WZ are one match away from winning it all, like you said. WZ are hosting this match, as this is match 2. MW were the higher seed, so they hosted match 1. They have a chance to close it out right here, and it's go time. It's time to see who's going to come out on top. WZ definitely feeling good after that last win. As like we were saying, they have been improving a lot, taking down a lot of these top teams that used to give them problems. So I definitely think that they're going to have some momentum carrying into this match.
Yeah, and speaking of momentum, like the last 2 races of match 1 was like heavily skewed in WZ's favor, so they have all the momentum on their side. Is Casper going for the Ultra yet again, making it first try perfect? So WZ going to be in top 2 as Fox goes for it and misses
Fox
it.
Not making it. WZ seem to be they seem to have that clutch factor right now. Then MW seems to be lacking. They're hitting their strats when it counts and pulling through at the end of races. Nice draft there from Casper, just expanding the lead a little bit. You know, no reason not to go for that.
The leapfrog drafting, it looks like. No, maybe not, but WZ, a clean top 2 right now. Going to try to block the shortcut, hopefully with a fib. Casper seems to be cycling for a lot.
I'm surprised he threw away those nanas. We saw Fox building up in 8th. He was probably bound to get one of those eventually, considering how far behind he was. It looks like Quinn's going to try to give him a hard time, and he does get him immediately. Yeah, holding Fox and Leops in the back, that's exactly what he needs to be doing while his team is still in top 2, pretty gone, and it looks like they just used that shock as well to prevent everyone from being able to take cut, I think. I'd have to imagine what that was.
We did see someone drop a star, so it doesn't look like anyone really dodged that, but...
Yeah, it looks like Xander and TK are now in 3-4, respectively, and they've somehow managed to get really close to this top 2 now, so it's up to Xander to really defend for himself and hopefully take out some of the WZ players. And if he's not able to do that, then it's going to be a good race for WZ right off the bat.
Yep, so he's going to be cycling for items again, trying to block the shortcut. He is dead set on pulling this fib.
And it looks like I was thinking that if he's throwing away all these bananas, do you but he missed it. He tries to go too fast, and all of a sudden, I'm not sure if anyone's making Ultra right now, but it looks like he's going to run it back on the cut and make it, and no one else took cut. Jack's getting blued. Casper somehow manages to hold first, and he should have been here so long ago, but he pulls another shroom because he did get shroom glitch, and Quinn actually goldens up to the front. Fox hitting a wall, 3 people in megas at the same time as the race comes to a close. Can he draft Jack?
Oh, there's the wow!
Jack says no, sir. He just
like that.
Oh my god.
After all of that chaos, WZ still getting a fantastic race out of it. Top 2, looks like 5-6 as well. Oh,
that was bonkers.
I think Fox was trying to go for snipes, and then he ended up hitting a wall because of his alignments, trying to go for them, and it cost him a few positions there.
That was so crazy. I think MW failed Ultra twice that race. I think Fox failed it on lap 1, and someone was going for it when that blue was out on lap 3, and they missed, and that was just crazy. And I can't believe it was the last box Casper got before getting to cut. Do you think he was counting? Do you think he was that high IQ that he was counting his item boxes and he knew that it was going to be that one? Because like he was chucking away his bananas like there was no tomorrow.
You know what? I think that might be it, because he was just cycling boxes like crazy in first, even though we thought he was just going to try and block a shortcut, right? So
yeah, because he threw away triple nanas 1 set before the cut in first place. Like he must have known. He must have known.
And you know what? With the amount of boxes on BC3, it was definitely possible to do. And by somehow he was able to get a Sherman first, but it still ended up working out even after he failed. Dude, Casper's ability to make these kinds of plays is nothing short of stunning. His brain is massive.
And I guess we could explain Shroom Glitch, because I bet a lot of people are kind of confused right now, is that there's this weird bug in the game where if you hit 16 item boxes, the game will start giving you single mushrooms. And normally that's way too many items to collect during a race just because, that means you're going to have to hit more than 5 per lap, which means you're going to be needing to get an item pretty much every set and use it every set for the entire race. And
Yep.
Casper intentionally went out of his way to grab as many boxes and just use all of his items whenever he could, and he ended up getting a mushroom right before the shortcut where he wanted to use it, and even though he failed it, that was just, I don't know, that was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and Bowser's Castle 3 is like one of the only tracks in the game where getting a single shroom first is like feasible, like on purpose. But back to the race, we see Fox like spamming a Mega to get up there, in contention with Jack, but ends up like drifting the wrong way again or something.
Yeah, he just kind of got weight roomed, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, he tried to like
weight roomed across the pond.
He tried to like outmaneuver Jack there, and it just didn't work out. But
yeah, that was a rough spot because since Jack's American and Fox is European, Jack can be bumping Fox on Fox's screen, but on Jack's screen he was about, a couple bike lengths ahead of that, so he wasn't really putting himself at any risk.
Yeah,
it is incredibly hard to pass people in that maze section for that reason.
So Casper changing a Mega here, triple reds. Pretty good item, but not really effective on this track because of all of the rigid corners and like the hedge maze especially. So he's just
not many great spots to throw reds. If they had Shock there, that would have been a really nice pull because they honestly could have just used it right there for Casper to red any MW players in front of him.
Instead he ends up holding blue. So he's going to hold this because I believe WZ is in first. Oh, actually, never mind.
That's a really, really strong item to pull right there. If WZ were in first, then Casper would just kind of be stuck with that blue for a long time. And it looks like Fox just missed a chain, right?
Yeah,
he was shrooming and he didn't use shrooms in time.
I was gonna say that bump from Roy seemed kind of weird, but didn't really do anything. But yeah, it looks like Fox is kind of struggling to chain items here. But we do see Casper pulling triple shrooms, and
even making a play with the green up in the front, Casper's going to be. Would you use the shroom if you were him? Because he's definitely vulnerable. Because Barney is really close.
I wouldn't use it until the last set because you're more vulnerable on the dirt section rather than these hedge mazes here. But he opts to hold it anyway, like maybe expecting a blue or something. But
now he's going to let it rip. Yep. We see multiple stars being used in the pack. I don't know if there's a shotgun play. Maybe TK's going to call him out, and he does. He does call Fox out of the star. It looks like Xander and wait, did Xander and Layups just get top 2 out of that?
I think he might have predicted their shock, and they ended up getting top 2. MW did.
I'm not sure because I saw Edison like running away from Roy earlier in the race. It looked like Edison was like on the top left corner of the map going backwards, and Roy was like in the hedge maze going backwards, and it looked like Edison had shock in the bag. Unless I was wrong about which laps they were on. That just looks strange to me, and it must have been an MW shock, right?
Yeah, like there's no way that
WollywogZ probably would have waited for Casper to get first, considering how close Barney was behind him, and that ended up favoring MW so much. So either it was a huge miscue on WZ's part, or MW just played well with that shock.
Yep. So the MW immediately being able to bring that back, and now they're up by 2 points going into race 3. They were able to get that BC3 race right back. And it's still anyone's game, even though we kept saying that WZ had the momentum on their side. It only takes a race like that to halt it just a little bit.
Exactly what we were talking about last match. Just whichever team gets the right situation going into the end of the race, as long as they play their cards right, they should be able to capitalize. And just with the way Mario Kart works, that's going to go back and forth as the war goes on. So it's good to see. It's good to see the luck favoring both teams in different situations.
Yep. MW going with DKM yet again. Hasn't come out yet, this war, but maybe... Yep. Xander's pick, DK Mountain.
Yeah, they waited a lot longer last war to pick this, but now they are in top 2, and they're going to go for it. Maybe they're feeling a little more confident in their ability to run this, and maybe they might also be confident in Roy now to get shock, since it is a cannon track. And this cannon is absolutely huge. I'm pretty sure this is the longest cannon in the game. You can get the entire room in there if you want to.
Yeah, if anyone who's played Lounge will know that cannon is really weird. Fox actually ends up pulling the bill in 8th there on the other POV there.
Yeah, and I think we saw MW holding down, at least a few top spots. I don't think any of them are in the back. So MW already in a great spot. Let's see how they play this. Fox decides to bill here. I don't think there was any pressure on him to.
No, there wasn't. I was
Use it. He
kind
just-
of looking at it. It does get him into
Yeah.
first, but he has a really awkward angle at the
Yeah,
shortcut.
I don't agree with that at all. Honestly,
Wonder what the
I don't get what the point of that was, because if he wanted to get up to the front, it probably would have made more sense to use it at the cut, right? Because then you have the chance to build WZ off the bridge, and I think it's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
save more time that way.
But now we have Casper the Mega in fifth, MW top 3. But if they, it looks like they were trying to predict WZ shock, and there it is.
They do use shock. It looks like only one MW member actually dropped into the canyon with them to dodge that. So Casper now has his Mega, I believe, in first place. And
Nice fib snipe!
that fib just came out of nowhere. And Fox
Wow.
has a chance to give this to TK. He's going to try to outmaneuver him and
No, the
intersect
bumps are
him
a
on the bumps, but
he passes it to his teammate.
it goes to
That can't be
Barney.
good.
Yeah, right when Barney was overtaking first, but now Fox is still up here, and he took
Wow,
that
those
so
lines
quick,
were
and
so
now he has
clean.
triple reds.
He has an opportunity to break this race open.
What is
he
going
gets
on?
sniped. What was
Oh,
that?
he's dead.
he
He's
just
dead
gets-
meat on the bridge.
Oh, Barney. Oh, no,
Barney-
dude. What are you doing?
I don't
and
know.
Quinn gets
Everyone's
another-
using their items now. Is there a shot going to come in? I don't really know what to make of this situation right now.
This race is insane so far. Everyone's just flying.
That was a second bill in eighth. This time it was for WollywogZ. It looks like MW are 2-3 with Jack still in first, and this power from Casper is definitely gonna be able to. Wait, did Jack just get hit out of first? Did he get sniped?
I think
Well,
so. So
they
this is
still
going to be a
take
really
it
good
up
power
to-
for them. Just
They're not using the POW
here.
yet. They waited a long time to use that POW.
Yeah,
They did have a Mega. I don't understand why they waited that long.
I'm not sure either. It just
I feel like they
makes
let
it so
MW off the hook. That
They
was
could have
very
used it like
strange.
3 seconds earlier around the first turn, and they would have been able to do a lot more damage. But instead, MW with another top 2.
Yeah, another just crazy race. So many items being used all over the place. Fox,
very
unfortunately,
weird.
was not able to recover from that lap 2 combo on him.
Some weird decision making, like Fox using his bill like super early on in the race for seemingly no reason to like that one fib on Casper to get him out of first. That was huge. Like he could have had that race sealed like completely by himself. But no, instead MW getting top 2.
MW getting top 2. I think they got a snipe off on Jack as well. And that was just whack. It didn't seem like the WZ shock benefited them all that much. I don't know what happened to Casper in first once he had that Mega. Actually, no, he got fibbed, but
Yeah, he got fibs.
I don't know what happened to his Mega. That was just such an odd race. I don't know what just happened. Is this D1?
Apparently. All
They're hitting
sorts
every
of
single snipe. I honestly feel like Fox might have not even meant to use the bill. Like, I literally think that could have just been his nunchuck clicking the Z button for him, and the bill just getting wasted.
maybe it's. I mean, Fox's controller
I don't even
seems to
know.
have been failing a bit, but I don't know about that.
Lots
I guess
of
we'll never know unless we
lots
ask
of
him.
spaghetti.
Lots of spaghetti. Yeah, MW with a slight lead here. Up 5 points. And I didn't quite see what track it was that got picked there, but okay, Moonview Highway.
There we go,
So
Moonview, yeah.
yeah, Moonview, classic pick for top 2. We'll see what happens this race. Last time this got picked, like spots got shuffled immediately. So let's see if MW is going to be able to hold this down. See Casper not opting to take a box, getting wheelie bumped there. So that was
he
really
got bumped there.
Oh.
Yeah, he went for a read on the line that first would take to avoid getting bumped, but both of the MW members swerved to the left, giving Casper no chance to draft up. And it seems like their starting top 2 stayed up there, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure what's happening in the rest of the
Actually, Quinn looks like he's taken first, but MW still 2-3-4. Oh, Leops ended up getting taken out there, maybe backspin or something. So WZ now 1-4. Pretty solid positions for Moonview Highway. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff.
Quinn putting the team on his back so far this race, definitely keeping them in a pretty good spot, honestly, with 4-5. It's like Jack had the bill in 4th. How did he get that up there? This
don't
almost
know.
never happens on Moonview Highway. They're gonna be
He must have gotten bumped
in
at
a
the
really
beginning.
solid top 2, and if Casper can run away from this TC on the boost panels, then Fox is gonna be pretty much out of the race as well. And now it's just Xander up here.
Oh, but there goes the blue. That's going to break up that top 2 real quick, and those reds are going to gonna do even more damage.
Oh, I think it hit both of them, or maybe
It might have
hit a
been
car.
Mag.
I don't know. There's just so much going on, so many things for these players to deal with. And Fox gets another bill in 8th. This is unbelievable.
MW loves their 8th place bills. Like they're a team that pulls a lot of them, but that's because
that's 4 in the past 2 races, 2 for each team, and he's jumping straight into the car.
Okay, another hasty bill usage there,
and now he's gonna use his bill. Jack's using his star. I don't think the shock's gonna come out from either team.
It was because Fox used his bill that Jack ended up burning his star because he really didn't want to risk any like weird shocks there.
But WZ were top 3 there. If MW had shock, they probably should have used it anyway because they have no. Casper just hit a truck. He hits a truck and they were top 2.
Yeah, we see Barney in second with a Mega just pressuring him a little bit.
And a draft from Fox on Barney at the end
looks
to
like
steal the spots.
2-4 from MW. Very strange interactions on lap 3.
This is the most like unpredictable match I've maybe ever watched. We just saw Casperinos and Fox drive into cars on their own accord on the same lap. We saw multiple bills in 8th. Oh,
that was crazy. This war is defying all expectations right now. I don't know what's gonna happen by the end. But MW getting
MW won the race.
2, 3, 4, 8, 10.
That is bonkers. WZ were top 3. I don't know what happened to their other players. But Quinn held up. Quinn was the only person playing a normal Mario Kart experience that race. Everyone else seemed to be in some sort of a montage there.
Oh yeah, I bet the montage for this will be fantastic.
Just weird things happening all over the place.
Yep. So MW with an 8-point lead after 1 GP. Still really close. Even closer than it was up to this point last time.
Yeah, again, despite everything that's happened, it's still relatively even. And sometimes you do see, all the ridiculous things going one way or another, but it's been pretty back and forth, so both teams are still fighting, still looking to win this match, and maybe they're gonna cool it down, try to play a little bit more simple, try not to run into as many obstacles on the track. I don't know.
Maybe take tracks with less obstacles on them to run into. I'm just kidding, but yeah, a little bit of spaghetti from both sides, but even still, they're playing really well, making plays to get their teammates where they need to be. But
yeah, we're seeing a lot of really greatly executed plays, like Quinn taking over first place off the bat with the other team starting in top 2, and then backing one of them right away. That's exactly what you need your players to be doing. To turn around those situations where it looks like the other team could capitalize. But then I can't say the same for the rest of the players in that race.
RBC coming out from, I believe, that was an MW pick. Pretty solid for even spots. You can get a lot of drafts going and get up to the front. So Casper's going to have to make a weird play here to prevent that from happening so he can keep his first place. And it looks like he's going to swerve all the way to the left, get in the way of a lot of people. Yep, getting a wheelie bump immediately. That was really nice.
And Jack as well, swerving behind Casper. We could see that pretty well on Fox's POV, kind of just acting as a human shield just to prevent anyone from getting close enough to draft.
Another Fox versus Jack scenario. With
this trail, Fox really has no means of passing Jack without an item until Vinder eventually takes it out.
It kind of looked like he was going to get the better end of that, but just last second bump didn't really work out. He gets a POW though, so maybe this could be used to change the game later on. He's just going to hold it for now though.
Casper and Jack still holding down top 2. They don't really have too much of a lead so far, but they can definitely build up a lead as time goes on, unless this target POW actually ends up being pretty devastating for them, which it could be if they get target POW on this last turn.
Oh, he ends up chaining it, and he drops a fib last turn, so it kind of prevented...
It was pretty bad for Jack, but since Casper took left path for some reason in first, it was fine for him.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what his rationale was for taking the left path instead of going for rail, because almost everyone goes for rail, but...
Maybe he didn't really think it was worth it because his teammate was behind him, so...
I'm not sure. Maybe he knew that there would be a POW. Maybe he was that ready.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so Casper's still holding down first despite everything so far. It looks like both of the players behind him are on MW. as we see Fox right here with Xander.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately, the
Barney
triple
right behind
green's
him.
come in the wrong place because he's surrounded by teammates, so he's gonna have to throw these away.
Yeah, you should have a pretty easy time getting rid of these. And whoa,
was that green?
trick shot green from Casper.
Casper? That didn't
Yeah,
hit
he
me.
went, I mean, he went for it. It's really hard to react to that. That's like a Mario Kart 8 backspam. It's just full speed out of nowhere.
We were talking about that on the Koopa Cape race last match. Like, the back snipes, like, no one expects it to come out, but when it does, you just feel like a fool for falling for it. But it doesn't.
You're gonna have to get creative to hit people who are this good at the game, because you see right there, he put that fib super wide and he ended up hitting. Was that Barney? Maybe, I'm not sure, but
yeah.
so
So
you have to
Mega
think outside the box sometimes.
has to be careful not to Mega his teammate going through the grass, but that POW I think is
He's Mega
going
early,
to...
and they're gonna dodge and get the shock right off on Casper.
All right, that's an easy first for Fox. Casper just going to try to hold his own here versus Xander.
Yeah, Casper definitely in a tough spot right now. He's got to make some sort of play to get up into the top 3 and maybe salvage some spots for his team. Jack's looking to do the same.
What's he going to pull here? TC. Nothing.
And he's just got to go in for it now.
Oh, what was that? They got 3-4 out of that somehow, though.
He was so ready to get lag bump there. Just
that bump, like, it benefited him almost.
Yeah, he cut off so much. That was great maneuvering from Casper to stay alive and also save a decent amount of time taking rail. I don't know how much it mattered as far as, getting a higher spot, but it definitely would have been really unfortunate to get bumped off there, especially how laggy that interaction was.
Yeah, that corner can be pretty laggy if someone, like, goes for rail and then jumps off, or, like, I don't know, like, it's a weird spot on the track. Like, some spots in the game have sort of weird lag properties, but it ended up working out for Casper. But they do get quite a bit of a losing race there. MW with top 2, 5, 6.
And I think someone might have gotten backed on the line after the rail. That might have been the guy who teleported out of our view. I don't know if that's what happened or not, but yeah, definitely pretty good stuff from both teams. MW used that shock fairly well. They were in a decent spot. WZ sort of nullified it a little bit. They did what they could. I mean, Casper couldn't really have done too much. We saw his path that race, and he didn't really have too much control over his position, but I mean, that's just how the game goes sometimes.
Yeah. So MW able to extend their lead a little bit, up 21 points now. Opting to go for DK Summit. Didn't really work out for them last time, but that was probably because they went 5 running. GV comes out instead, though. GV really good for their spots, actually. They're only 3-4, but then their bottom spots can pull all the shrooms they want to catch back up.
I think GV is one of the tracks in the meta nowadays where teams are getting so good at playing it efficiently that whoever gets shocked should just get a really, really good race out of it. As long as they use it unpredictably enough.
Shroom there. Gonna try to pull some more, it looks like, yeah.
Pretty much, this is one of those tracks where laps 1 and 2 just set you up for using a lap 3 shock most of the time.
Casper? What?
I don't know how he got into this spot, but he's got a golden third.
He has to make this now, right?
No. Luckily, just barely got the respawn, but Casper's 0-for-3 on the day.
That was
on
a
the
crazy
rock hop shortcut.
Like, I know you guys probably didn't see it, but he ended up pulling a Mega there, and then I believe he chained in, like, 5th or something and ended up passing a couple of people and pulled a golden. Like, it looked so strange because he ended up with it in 3rd.
Yeah, that lap 1 could have been like 33 seconds. That you could have fit that into a Twitch clip easily, but and he's getting random greened off the wall.
Almost got taken up by a rogue red too. It wasn't even targeting him.
Yeah, let's see how many of WC take cut here. It looks like a couple of them are going for it, and he finally gets his run back, and he's honestly not that far behind top 3. I don't think any of MW took cut on that lap, and a lot of WZ were able to catch up and make their way into top spots. We see Fox is kind of alone back here in 8th.
Yeah, meanwhile, Casper trying to take out MW and pull shrooms of his own, as we do see MW in top 2. Triple red's not really going to be useful. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably just going to get rid of these and try to cycle for more boxes to get shrooms. He does get a Mega.
Do they have the shock? Let's see. Fox is holding his star currently in the back, but
WZ probably would have TS Leops if they had it right there, and I think that Fox might be dodging landing from cut. That I think they're going to get Quinn out,
gonna
and
come out
this is going to be a
super
good
late.
race for MW.
Yep, there it is. Okay. Casper
Yeah,
got shot.
Chipe and Quinn left totally stranded. Casper's going to make up some ground, getting fourth. Did MW get top 3? I couldn't see who got first.
I think so, unless... Yeah, I think it might have been. Unless one of them ended up taking cut into first, like, really high up. I think that's a huge race.
Yeah, and that was a classic GV race. They were just in a good spot to take cut on lap 3, and I questioned a little bit Casper's choice to use the Mega that early. I mean, MW really had no incentive to shock at that point since I think they were already like top 2. No one was in the cut at that point, and the WollywogZ members weren't really close enough to get into the top positions by taking cuts. So the threat of a TS wasn't really there, and I kind of feel like that was a bit of an impulsive decision from Casper. Because even if he does chain his Mega for Shrooms, which was probably what he wanted, he was getting shocked at a cut anyway. So yeah, a little bit of a missed opportunity there.
It's hard to know what
it would have been a good race for MW, but
yeah, it's hard to know what to do with a Mega in that spot on that track. Like, what the heck do you do with it? Do you try to predict the shock, or do you chain for Shrooms? It's like a 50-50 sort of scenario, right? But
yeah, he was probably pretty screwed either way.
Yeah,
like they had all the control of that race. They were top 2. They had the last guy taking cut, and they had shock, and that's really all you need.
Yeah.
That's a winning recipe right there.
MW blew this match wide open with that race. That was a plus 27 race, and now they're up 48 points. WZ needs to just channel their inner match 1 here to try and catch back up as they get their MC3 track pick, so this is a good start for them.
Yeah, MC3 track that is runnable if they overbag. I don't think WollywogZ is going to do that. No, they definitely have the experience needed to not let the top spot slip away too much. Let's see if Casper can take him out early. He's going to look for a draft here. He can afford to play aggressive since he has this.
Yeah, he can just absolute everybody. Trying to snipe Leops, it's kind of tough though.
And
there it is.
I thought he had to be able to. Wow, he got drafts off both of their players, and now he's going to get sniped himself. And the second green off the wall. What a setup!
Getting...
just the way that play was diagrammed, I'm sure MW has been practicing that in the lab lately. That was 100%
practicing counter sniping, yeah.
Yeah.
But Jack ended up getting into first from that, and that was a pretty chaotic situation.
Yeah, with all the top spots getting taken out, it would be pretty easy to shroom up to the front. And speaking of shrooming up to the front, yeah,
top 2 is just reclaim the lead. Maybe bumping Jack now. He was smart enough to know that he was going to come up. Oh, that was a little bit weird with the baggers, but that's okay.
And Jack giving him a lot of space. We do see a blue coming out, and it's going to be taking out Fox, and Jack is not going to let himself get caught up in that. He sees how much space he has behind him, and he knows that he can just afford to slow down and not take the hit, and he should be able to get first unless the shock really benefits someone else. Casper chaining his Shroom in fourth there is really interesting.
Oh, that was an excellent pull. He can definitely do some damage here, especially getting another 4th place box. A Mega!
He's not able to hit Fox before the cut, but if they have shock, this is going to be an easy top 2 for them.
They have to spam it. He might get called out. Nope. WZ only able to pull out 1-4 from that. Kind of a shaky race, but 1-4 isn't too bad, but that's not what you want to see. That's just another losing race by a little bit.
Yeah, that red both of those reds just weren't able to catch up to Fox. He snuck away with his Norwegian. That's a lot of distance between America and Norway, and it was just enough to get him around those walls. Even though he didn't have any protection, he just had to shroom for his life.
2, 3, 5, 6
for MW. Crazy lap 1, although I guess that's what we should expect every time.
Yeah, those green snipes were calculated. Like those 2 greens onto, I think it was Leops or Xander or somebody, and then he fell for the same thing immediately after, and then getting comboed by another random green. It was chaos. He could have had that race.
I'm surprised Leops didn't swerve, unless maybe he swerved later, because I mean,
that probably was
you have to imagine that he knew that Casper was in second, right? That's something that his teammate would have called out, and with 2 greens behind Leops, the threat of him getting sniped or drafted there was very huge, and he didn't seem to get out of the way in time.
He might have just not expected the second green. Like, he had a banana. By all accounts, he should have been safe, but that second green was what got him. But
yeah, and it was crazy the snipe after where Casper gets sniped. Fox threw 2 greens, one of them hits him from the side, and then the other green just continued off the wall right back into the same spot to get him. That was, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
DKS coming out from WZ. Pretty solid track. If you're starting in the back, you can definitely go for the bill because it's a really good item on this track. But it's not likely, but it's a strategy, and we'll see what
they are bottom 2. Let's see how well Jack does in first. This is another track where there's a heavy amount of tech, and so there are definitely opportunities to pass players by just taking the strats better than them and working your way around them without having to really avoid their trail or avoid getting bumped a lot. So
yeah,
let's see if they can do that. But Fox has got to worry about bumps from his own teammates too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what was that? He didn't get the boost from the ramp, so he's going to lose a lot of time from that.
Yeah, he couldn't really pick a side, and he kind of went up the edge.
Yeah. Casper has an opportunity here to get way up in the front with this golden.
Oh,
just barely making it.
Almost killed him, but not quite. He did kind of waste a little bit of the golden, but he should be able to get up into second.
Yeah.
Another thing about these tech tracks, it's pretty easy to hold good items up into top spots like that, and just avoid everyone. So, yeah, he brings that golden up into second.
Yeah, he could have held the golden, but I think he was forced to use it because of his awkward double shortcut. Oh, he gets past the TC. And Barney is just warping all over the place, and he lags it back to another
back to Xander, I think. I think Xander passing him the TC prevented him from taking that turn well.
Casper is playing with fire right now, and Barney with these reds.
Barney with the reds, taking double, but we don't really know where he is. And those players are so close to each other. Casper is really, really jammed right now.
How did nobody get hit off of the double from those reds? It's crazy, but Fox ends up taking advantage of that. He's in second with 2 shrooms. And a shock here could be pretty big. No, not quite.
The spot seemed mixed enough that it wouldn't be too feasible for either team to get a lot of their own players in Canyon. But a big mistake from Fox. They're losing a lot of time. Definitely a little bit more liable to getting hit now. And I don't think he's going to have a chance at beating Jack.
He's going to have to... Oh, he's not going to be able to go for double because of this red, but they need a blue.
Oh, we saw the red approach the screen. And Casper's doing the respawn strat? He's doing a respawn strat. He just chucked himself into the abyss, and they're going to respawn dodge him, and let's see if he can actually beat Fox off of it.
Is this a thing? This is a thing. It looks... Yeah,
he's going to get a better zipper, and I think Fox is the shy guy.
That's a top 2. Wow! Respawn strats really aren't a thing outside of Grumble Volcano and, quite a few CTs.
Yeah, there's some, really... I hate using this word, but some very niche instances where you can call things like that, like the last bridge on DK Mountain.
Casper's the king of niche at this point.
Everything's niche nowadays, but that was interesting, and I really don't think it saves that much time. I think the only reason he really went for it is because he had that shroom that he could use to jump far enough to get the furthest ahead respawn that you can possibly get from falling into that crack. And I'm not sure if he was going to beat Fox if Fox didn't hit the Shy Guy, but it was probably also weird because Fox was growing back and probably boosting, so it was hard for him to know.
Possible. It's possible that he could have beaten him anyway because he was still small and he wasn't going to get a good angle in there anyway.
Yeah, really interesting use of the respawn dodge, and I wonder how else that shock benefited WollywogZ, because it looked like Casper called that specifically for himself to get second, right? That's a pretty specific.
Yeah, and maybe one of his teammates had a dodge in the back too to benefit from that.
Mm-hmm. And it looked like first was already pretty secured, so I like the idea. Usually you see respawn dodges on GV, like you said, but there are a couple other places. Some people in the past have used the lake on desert hills. If you jump far enough in the lake, you respawn across. You can respawn dodge there. Unfortunately, that one's not that useful because that track has a whole bunch of hills at the end where you can dodge and just save 10 seconds anyway. So that one's not that useful.
Not really useful, but I feel like
the DK Mountain Bridge. That one's kind of a thing.
I feel like the DK Summit respawn strat that we saw there could be really good because it's a common shock spot. First of all, you could get a lot of target shocks going at the exact same time as you do the respawn. And as we saw there, it gained him a spot. It's not going to be a broken strategy like the Grumble Volcano one or anything, but in the future, I could see that being used every so often to try and make a play.
Yeah, especially if you think about, when you take double, you have to slow down and drift, and you're getting a lot of airtime. And if you are relatively far behind someone, you could probably get shocked and fall off at the same time as them and be right next to them when you land, which is a really weird use of a shock, but in theory, it checks out. So
hey, it worked out. So now we're on Koopa Cape. Casper not pulling that lucky green, unfortunately, but Fox on the other screen gets a shroom, so he's going to be able to catch up here. But we see Leops in first instead. Yep, going to be shrooming up here. MW in 2-3, going for the shroomless, making it pretty cleanly, actually. It's not the fastest.
Quinn had a shroom, though, so he was able to gain a lot more time and be pretty comfortably in first, although he doesn't have an item. If Leops or Fox had a red...
Yeah. And now Leops is throwing reds after reds at him, so let's see.
Yeah, that was the plan. Fox had a green, Leops had reds, and so... they knew they had a clear shot at Quinn if they traded spots, and I think Quinn got redded, which is why he is no longer in third place.
Yeah. So it looks like MW was able to crack top 2 there. Casper bagging with TK in the back. I don't know about that, but end up pulling triple shrooms.
There was a drop star from MW there that Leops and Fox both got in 2-3. So even if they didn't red Quinn, that also could explain how they got in the top 2.
Oh yeah, you might be right. That's probably what happened there. Casper making some really good chains here, like taking shortcuts and like chaining boxes here. Trying to burn these shrooms though.
Good spots for MW right now. A lot of
Okay, going for the draft.
Draft. Didn't really saved any time.
Okay, Casper, I see you.
It's a good idea.
Oh, he has to burn this last. Well, maybe not. That TC.
Top 3 for MW. What's the plan here for WollywogZ? They're going to pound Casper in the air, give him a chance to catch up. Going for the long-range Goomba snipe.
And we see Casper dodging, actually.
He pulled a Mega in 4th at that set, and he spams it, and he's going to dodge. And his team probably dodged in the back, considering how long they were back there. They must have been holding stuff. And all of a sudden, WZ, they have a clear shot at getting first, and they probably have the better share of the shrooms right now.
Yeah, probably. Fox really doesn't have much of a play here, but he does pull a shroom in second, so that's good. What is going on here?
He's going for Fox with Fox. He got him! Oh my goodness, that's crazy because I can't believe Fox got hit by that. Because Fox, oh no, that's honestly a bit of a throw from Fox.
Oh, but we see TK ended up dropping back, and MW is going to be able to get 2-3-4 off that. That was an amazing play from Casper, and it was
that was a huge risk too, yeah. Because
it worked though, but I
can't
think
believe
like
it worked. I'm almost upset that worked, right? Because Casper didn't know that Fox had a shroom in second, right? Fox could afford to like wait a full second behind Casper and just be totally fine. And he had the entire pipe to work with, and he still somehow ended up getting hit. He didn't need to try to pass him. He didn't even need to be that close. All he had to do was keep a shroom and take cut, and he got hit. So Casper saving a few points for his team, but MW is still widening the gap with only a few races to go now.
Yep, that'll be another winning race for them. A +7, and they're back up by 51 points. WZ has a hill to climb these last 3 races. They don't have a lot of time, so they got to get big races like now.
Yeah, they almost got the lucky break they needed there with Casper pulling that Mega at the last second when they were probably already planning on using Shock there. That was a huge break for them. It would have been much harder to get into that top 3 if that didn't happen, but
yeah, Casper's just insane. Like the plays he's able to make.
Yeah, you give him one little stroke of luck and he can turn it into a highlight.
Yep, he's been getting highlights all day.
Unfortunately, his rest of his team didn't fare that well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to TK there. They were in top 2 and they could have held it, but just he might have gotten hit out of it. I'm not really sure. Maybe he hit a zappy. But MW up 51 now. They opt to go for DDR and they get their pick. Another good first only track in this game. But 2-3-4 still.
Yeah, let's see. The pressure's definitely on Casper right now. I mean, he showed in match 1 that he can run this track really, really cleanly and consistently.
Might be able to do it again.
See if he can do it. He's either.
Never mind.
You hate to see it. Or maybe
Jaggy
you don't.
instead.
Maybe you're going crazy about the burnout in first place.
Oh, Casper pulls the Bill and 8th on the other screen like immediately, so Fox ends up getting hit out there. They might not know that he has it, so Fox might end up just chaining endless boxes in 8th. But Casper's just chilling now. Ooh, getting bumped by his own bagger.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. Like, Barney ended up getting caught in that mess, so that might be a 10. I'm not sure, but it might not matter in the end.
And it's not my job to make that choice, so it's...
Yeah, it's not our
job. Shroomless cut. Is he really just going for it? Yeah, he just did it.
Casper literally just did the Shroomless with the Bill. I can't... This guy is insane.
I don't get it. That's... Honestly, in my opinion, that's just not worth going for, but he did it anyway. We see Fox burning this early. Maybe he knows that Casper has Bill.
Oh, he got it out of him! Wow!
What a play from Fox. That's great awareness.
I guess he knew all along.
That the MW comms, they kind of figured out that he probably was holding Bill at that point. And I imagine that Roy probably played a part in that too. You know, they recognized that no one else was getting Bill. Casper hadn't used an item all race. Yeah, really, really good play from Fox there.
Yeah, but MW is still occupying most top spots. I believe they're top 2 before the Ultra. We see Jack going in. Fox has to burn the Mega because of that. Pulls a POW. Not really what he wanted to see, but...
Taken out. I'm surprised that he didn't use that POW. It kind of sucks to be stuck with a POW.
Oh, we see the shot come in for WZ. And just like that, MW's bottom 2. This could be the race that WZ was looking for.
Yeah, let's see how far he can get with this star at the end. He might be able to pass Barney. I think he should be able to. No way he's catching Xander. Let's see.
He has to chain it here for triple greens. Oh, nice low trick.
Barney does have a Shroom. So they're going to actually hold top 2, and it all happens because Casper burned out at the very start. I mean, he almost got really lucky with that Bill in 8th. If he didn't get starred, he was definitely getting first out of that because Bill is just so powerful in a mid spot on lap 3 when you have Fox definitely saved that race for MW and allowed his team to push out even further ahead.
Yep, that'll be another winning race for MW, and just like that, I believe WZ is down by more than 2 perfect races, depending on what the other spots were.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. They're going to have to all run at least the last race, if not the last 2 races, if they want to bring it back and prevent a match 3 from happening, but right now it's looking like we're going to be here for one more match.
Yeah, so MW up 56 points now, so that is not quite more than 2 perfect races, but WZ is definitely going to need that if they want to win.
It is comebackable, as we call it, but
comebackable. Mathematically possible.
Yeah, we were questioning a little bit if there was a wheelie bump penalty in there. I don't know if Edison was shrooming back, but it wouldn't have been too much, even if it is penalized. So I don't think it'll make too much of a difference.
It's not going to make a difference anymore. But it looked like Casper got wheelie bumped by Edison, and then Barney got wheelie bumped by Casper. So not directly a trolling penalty. I don't think
that's really iffy. I don't think they're gonna pen that. That'd be
not really gonna matter. I don't think.
Yeah, it was lap 1. They were in like 6th and 7th. Probably not that big of an influence, and it's too tough to call. So it's better to just leave it as a non-issue.
Mario Circuit coming out. We saw, or did we see this last time? I don't think we did, but it was
no, we did not. This is
very unconventional
move from WZ. They're going for the big money, big shock race.
I respect this. I respect this track pick, though. It's Casper burning out yet again, but that's probably not even a bad thing on this track. We see Fox just sitting, like he's not having any of WZ's nonsense, just going straight for that 8th place spot.
No more bills in 8th. This is a no shooting zone. No more bullets. Although he does actually give up his 8th place now that he has a star.
He's gonna have to use this golden right away. I would just use this throughout all the grass you can. But we see WZ occupying a lot of top spots. That's not necessarily a good thing, though, on this track. We see Jack getting taken out there, but even still, they're holding down a lot, but they're not going to be able to pull the items they need to catch up.
Yeah, there's not really anything you could do to prevent the team with Shock from just easily winning the race on this track, especially if you are on top spots and the items you get aren't as impactful.
Yeah, but speaking of which, Casper with the star doesn't have to chain it, but he tries to steal boxes. That's fine. They might I'm not sure which team is holding Shock, but both of our streamers here opt to hold their stars, and not trying to catch up early.
Yeah, it looks like Casper's looking back and forth a lot, which might mean that he's trying to figure out what the opponents are doing.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So
I think that was a Wollywog Shock based on the chain, but Fox did end up dodging as well in the back, and he's going to be goldening all the way up from 8th place. We see Jack easily overtaking first. It looks like Fox is going to be able to move into maybe 2nd. No, he doesn't make it all the way up, but still a 3-4 from MW. That should be enough to make this.
That's enough to make it so that WZ is forced to all run race 12.
Mm-hmm. If Fox didn't get backrated from a million miles away, he probably would have been able to get first that race. But I don't know how that. I guess that was
so we didn't really get to see whose shock that was like clearly, but Fox did end up chaining his star in 8th first, and then Casper ended up using his star after, and then the shock happened. So I'm guessing it was an MW shock, and Casper's teammate ended up calling out like, "Oh, they're in a star. Use your stuff." And
I think that was a WZ shock. I think Fox was so far behind that they didn't know he was in a star, and WZ just used it like as soon as Casper went into his star, which makes a little bit more sense. But either way, I mean, it really didn't do that much, and this match is pretty much over. Like we saw last time, it's not too close, and yeah, it's unwinnable.
Yeah, unfortunately.
366 points to win, and the smallest amount you can get in a race is, I believe, 10.
I think so, but you know what that means? We're going to Game 3.
Yep, we're in for 1-2. This match was really, really messy in a surprising way. I haven't really seen a match play out similar to this one. They were just like a whole abundance of individual driving mistakes, as well as, like we saw last match, a lot of shifts in which team was in control. But MW came in the top this time.
Seems like they composed themselves after a while, though. We've been seeing less spaghetti as the races went on, but the first GP was definitely like crazy. It was all over the place.
Yeah, it was like DK Mountain and then like Moonview Highway back to back. I just had absolutely no ability to follow the match anymore. But CM last race, I guess they're just gonna play it out, because why not? At this point, the teams are already probably talking about what they're going to be doing match 3. I'd imagine they're not focusing on this race too much, but maybe they'll probably just
play it out to the end, and that'll be it.
Mm-hmm. It is pretty common nowadays for teams in best of 3s to forfeit just to move on to the next match faster if it's unwinnable for them. But
that really only happens after like 2 GPs and they're down by like a lot of points. Not really on race 12, but they're playing it out. They might want like the practice race.
Maybe WollywogZ play it out because a lot of these MW players live in Europe, and the later it gets for them, maybe they're going to start to grow tired. Who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
That is a little grimy, thinking about it, but it exists. I mean, that's what happens when you're playing online games with people from all over the world. It's tough to schedule a best of 3 that could take hours.
Yeah. And that's not to say they won't play a third match, but hopefully they'll be able to, I think all of us would want to see the conclusion to this.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be able to play hard for one more match. It is definitely draining to play, 12 GPs or 9 GPs in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, this race anything really is going to happen.
So, my prediction from earlier, WSD 2-1 might actually happen,
I was wrong.
You thought it was going to be 2-0 either team.
Right.
Yeah. What a game, though, so far. I've been enjoying this so much. Like, we've seen, like, so much good gameplay and so much, like, chaotic gameplay. It's been a spectacle.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, honestly, that you don't see happen every war. Like, just some of the weird little instances of things that are happening are quite unique to this match. Like Casper getting a shroom glitch on the last possible box before cut, and then failing, and then taking Shroomless back in the first. Just all over the place that no one could expect. And hopefully that keeps up, but hopefully the gameplay level is also good in this last match. And I'm glad that maybe WollywogZ wants to take this time to just reset, compose themselves, and think about what they need to do better as a team.
Yeah.
You know, if you're losing, this is definitely something that people in Lounge experience. You don't want to just throw yourself right back into the mess, and you know, it's good to have a chance to refresh your mentality and go in strong. So I definitely respect them taking their time here. Yeah, so that wraps it up for match 2. It looks like WollywogZ ended up losing by about 40-ish points. Although, again, the score doesn't really explain how everything went because the last race was a bit of a kicks and giggles type moment.
Yeah, we didn't really pay attention to that race, and I bet the players didn't really pay attention to it either.
Yeah, so we'll be back in a bit with match 3. Obviously, they have to change hosts again, and they're probably not going to start right away, as again, it does get pretty draining to play for this long. But yeah, one more match to go to decide it all.
Yeah, we're just going to be taking a quick break. We'll be back when the third match starts. Don't go anywhere. This is going to be fun.